What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? There are 13 energy centers in and outside of your body, below your feet and above your head. They're called your chakras. Your chakras govern your reality. They make your life happen. They're fueled by your subconscious thoughts, your life force, your action, sexual energy that exists in all of us, creating from the vibration that flows within us. Constant, consistent creation, directed by the choices that we make. You have the right to be who you're supposed to be, so what's it gonna be? You are the master of your vibration. Feed your mind for elevation. There is no time for contemplation. The time is now. So what's it gonna be?
Hola, hola ladies and gentlemen. It is February 26th, 2021. I'm SCG13 here with Solution.
So what's it gonna be?
What's it gonna be?
February 26th. The time is now.
The time is now.
All is well on my end.
Good. We got a lot of feedback from last week's session with Mr. Andrew. If you guys didn't check it out, check out Natural Remedies. That was a session that we did with Mr. Andrews talking all about natural remedies. This week, we're kind of getting back into the basics. I'm going to be opening up the lines so that you guys could chime in if you want to chime in for tonight's session. But we're going to be going to the basics of what the chakras are, with the chakras and crystals, and how they relate to each other, and how how it is, why it is that we need to know this system, why it is so important for us to know this about ourselves and our planet. I put a video in the study group, in the video section inside the study group, called the seven earth chakras. And it's really interesting because it's like when you recognize, hola Kyla, hola Drea, when you recognize that, see, the Mother Earth, the planet Earth, also known as Gaia, is a reflection, a mirror of us. We are, what is made of the earth is inside of us. And so the crystals and different stones, they all have a different vibration, a different frequency. And I definitely want to recommend that you guys pick up the Book of Stones, Who They Are and What They Teach by Robert Simmons and Naisha Aishan, because it is a book. Hola Jennifer, I know Jennifer has the book. It is a book that really teaches a lot about these elements and these minerals. And I have to tell you this. What I know is that because of the nature of what stones and crystals do, the things that I've learned about them, it's no wonder they've made a mockery of the people that connect to these elements. It's no wonder we have been made to be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you recognize the power of the elements and the power of nature and the healing power in it for us, you won't look for anything else outside of it. And so that's really dangerous to corporations and people that have been making money off of, pharmaceuticals and sickness and drugs and everything disease and everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
And we're seeing more and more sickness now because, this system has been operating in the way that it has for hundreds of years, and so it gets to a point where the people are starting to get so pumped up off of drugs and medication that they're literally exploding from it. And so there is always a solution in nature, but people have been programmed to go outside of nature and to trust things that are outside of nature. It's like we live in a society now where people are afraid of the sun. The sun. The sun with this, like, when you think about how trees and flowers and things grow with the energy of the sun, how could you deny its benefits? I recognize that people that are of a lighter hue are gonna, get sunburned and different things like that. But there are ways of consuming the sun where it is not harmful to your skin. You get up early in the morning and when the sun is rising, and you can get that sun and you can get that benefit, and it not affect you or damage your skin. But that's just an example of how we have been programmed to be outside of ourselves and outside of nature. And the people that get into this study are labeled as freaks and weirdos and witches, and and let me clarify, and I'm always going to clarify this in every ground that I stand on, every platform that I'm able to say this, that if you look at the definition of what a witch is, I don't like labels at all. But when you look at the definition of what a witch is and a witch is a healer of the planet. A witch is here to help the earth, to help Mother Earth. So this is why a lot of people feel the energy of, that witchy energy and that, that witch vibration. A lot of women experience that and feel that, even the ones that won't claim it and won't say that, they have this little feeling about that energy, but it is part of who we are, and we are everything. So it's like you got to take the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's all of us, and everything has its compartment, everything has its area. And so when it comes to the energy centers of the planet, and I haven't even finished the video that I put out yet, because I just found it and I put it out. But one of the ones that and we're gonna make it a point to visit this one, because I know that it's not by coincidence. And everybody's been telling me, have you visited this place? In Northern California, you're so close. Have you visited? Why haven't you gone? I mean, I've been getting that for the past I'm going to say about 7 years. People have been putting this in my ear, and it's Mount Shasta. And Mount Shasta is the root chakra of the earth, is in Mount Shasta. The sacral chakra is in Peru. And so it goes on and on. The throat chakra is in Egypt. And so all of these, when you recognize that this is how the earth functions, and then you connect it with how we function and what's inside of us, you can definitely recognize the similarities. And so if you look in the book of stones, the authors do a really great job of creating that picture for you, so that you can recognize that it's like the earth is just like our bodies. And so these crystals that are born through the earth, they all have their frequencies, and they all have their vibrations, and they are all meant for the healing of the planet, for the healing of Mother Earth. And so, yes, people have, because you have some people that are going to be like, oh, it's part of Mother Earth, so we shouldn't excavate them and take them out of the earth and use them. There's extremes for everything, and so people have their ideas and their beliefs of what it is. But I will say this, yeah, we take everything out of the earth, because it's what we take the fruits and the herbs and everything that we need to consume. And here's the thing, and people like that should come back to balance and recognize that it's in us. We are it. It is, so no matter where the crystal exists, it's going to do what it's supposed to do. And so when I'm not going to go through all of the the chakras. We're basically going to talk about how they relate to the crystals. And every crystal has a energy center that it belongs to. So let's say, for example, you are wanting to connect to chakras that are above your head, chakras that are you're connecting to the metaphysical. You want to connect to the spiritual world. So you want to use crystal quartz, you want to use selenite, you want to use a celestite, any crystals that are going to take you outside of the chakras above the head. And if you have any reference of crystals, they usually, wherever you look, they're going to tell you what chakra they pertain to. And so in this, you'll know how to use them. And this is really important, because in order for you to truly heal, you have to have divine balance. And divine balance means that you are healthy. All of your energy centers are working properly and you are healthy. You're able to deal with circumstances that come your way that are ugly or that are challenging. And, this is really important to talk about this now, because I know that everybody has an idea of 2021, because of what happened last year. They thought, 2021 is going to be so super duper great. All of this is going to be over and it's going to be. No, it's not. This is like we're in the crowning stage of this rebirth. And so spring is bringing along a lot of transformation, more than we have seen. Like every day it escalates and it gets more and more. So we have to be prepared for this energy that's coming. Along with the energy, it's very high vibrational energy. And when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about how, sometimes we feel like, with this knowledge and with all of this experience that we have with life, we're ready. And then we get mad when a challenge happens. We get mad because we think that, I'm already, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, so I should really be good. Like if being really good means that you're not going to experience a challenge. And so it reminded me of a tree. And it reminded me of a storm in a tree, and how a storm, and this is all natural and organic, and this is all the power and the force of nature. And so a tree knows that the storm came already, right? So the storm comes and it just completely shatters the tree. But just because the tree is shattered, it doesn't mean that the storm is going to stop coming or is not going to come again. So this tree could either repair itself, which it has the ability to do, or it's just completely done for and it has to just completely start all over, way to the root of where things are. And I'm saying this, I don't know if it's called an analogy. Is this what I'm doing here, Puppy? An analogy? Is that what it is? I'm making an example of that with what is happening in our lives. It's like we have to get to the root of who we are so that we could do this healing. So all of the things that we've learned, and yes, there's videos about the chakra system and there's this, and we've been talking about this all year long. So now is and longer than a year. I'm just saying a year because this is the season that we're in with this study group, right? And so we've been hearing about all these things, and sometimes we will practice and sometimes we won't practice. Sometimes it'll be like, okay, I know it, so I think I know it, so I'm good. And then life has me so busy doing other things that it's like, okay, well then, yeah, I'll get back to that. Well, 2021. It is time to practice in action, meaning that there is no time to contemplate whether you're going to meditate. There is no time to contemplate whether you're going to figure out what energy centers in your body are blocked or are, you don't have to go to somebody to tell you what it is. You should know what it is now. You should be able to know this information because everything that exists is for you to know is inside of you to know that. And sometimes these challenges are what is required in order for you to be able to get that key, unleash, recognize what it is, and figure it out. But you do have to figure it out on your own. So this is the area, this is the time now where we move into the next phase of what Master Vibration Study Group is. And that is the actual practice of all of these things that we've learned and we discussed and we've, studied. And if you are just entering into the study group and you have not checked out every single session that exists in the archives, you must. It is a must. You have to do it. If you're in the, because you're going to have to catch up, because what is happening now moving forward is the practice of all of it. And in order for us to be able to create a curriculum for ourselves, for our own self-mastery and our study, we got to know what the hell we're working with. So you got to know where your root chakra is. You got to know that there's chakras beneath your feet. You have to know that they are above your head. You don't have to know the specific name to every one. Just know that they exist. And you can definitely start with the ones that are inside of your body and immediately above your head. Right? And so once you know what these energy centers are and what they do in your body, when things are happening in your life, like when somebody calls you out your name or when somebody, acts crazy, you're feeling some kind of way, like people like to say these days, they're feeling some kind of way. Well, where is that? Where is that, when you're feeling like you want to fight or you want to, punch somebody in the neck, where is that coming from? That's that root. That's that root. That's that sacral. And then if you're taking action on it, then that's going to be your solar plex. And so if you know that you're having issues, let's say you're having anger issues or you're having a hard time controlling your temper, then you know that these are the direct energy centers that you have to work with. And there is a stone for every center of your body, not just one stone, a plethora of stones. And whatever it is that you can access, it is what is for you. And so let's say that you can't access jack, but a computer, but you can't access nothing but a computer, right? So you don't have the physical, the physical stone, on you. Now, I will say there are, of course, when you have it physically in your hand, it's definitely going to be better. When you have something in the physical space, you're going to have a better experience, right? And I think that that's still probably subjective. That depends on who. But if you look at a grounding stone, magnetite. If you look at a picture of a magnetite, if you read on what a magnetite is and what it does, and you start bringing this information in your system, your brain is immediately going to latch on to it and it's going to connect to what it is that you're trying to feed it. Why? Because it is organic. It is a natural source for you to heal. So even just the mention of what it is and the sight of it will connect your inner brain with what it is and what it does for your body. So absolutely, yes, you can heal just by looking at a picture of a stone. If you don't have a physical picture or you don't have a computer that you have access to that you could look at, guess what? You got a beautiful screen inside your brain, inside your mind. You can visualize that stone. If you have never, ever even looked at what the stone looks like, don't even worry about what it looks like. Think about its features. I'm trying to give you guys an example of any limitation that a person might have that can be absolutely conquered because we are infinite beings. There is no limitation. Most High didn't put us here to be deficient. So everything is within our reach. If you're able to picture it in your mind and make a picture of it so that you can be in the frequency of what that is, your brain is going to do the rest. We have really smart vehicles. And when we know how these vehicles work, they become amazing machines that will take us to heights that we never even thought could ever happen. So it is very important for you to know what this system is within yourself. It is very important for you to know what crystals and stones do, because these are absolutely what our ancestors used for their healing. And that's proven, that's studied, that's something that is known. Right? And so this is not about putting a label on anybody that is using a stone or that is, now you're part of this world. Do you know that part of the reason why I've, detached from a lot of things of what's out there is I really don't like to be labeled as one thing. Like I change the things that I do so constantly because innately I have this knowing that change, the only thing consistent is change. So I've been used to this change. My life has always consisted of I think I would even dare say extreme change, because it's always been like big movements, and it's always been like that since I can remember. And I recognize what that is in me and why that is in me, and I honor that now. I always going against the world of, oh, you got to be completely stable, you got to have a 401k plan, and you got to have this and that or the other. And it's like, that is just not the world that we exist in. And then when we look at nature, and when we look at the animals, and when we look at how nature conducts itself, is we start to recognize how far away and how detached we are from it, because we're wanting to conform to an unnatural system that has programmed us to believe that we are like these robots that are coming to replace the planet in a second, And so that's what they're wanting people to believe, so that they can continue those cycles. But that's no more. It's not like that. Time is over, and it is there for those who are ready to receive it. And the way that you receive it is by being able to align your body, align your mind, soul, and spirit with the planet Earth and beyond the Earth, your metaphysical state of being. And this is the time to do that. This is time for that marriage, for that unification, for the divine feminine and the masculine. But it is all within yourself. And it is important for you to recognize your role in it. You cannot use the excuse of, oh, I don't have, money for this, so I don't have the funds for that. Or, if you're still looking at your life in that situation, then there's just no way. Like, you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do it unless you recognize who you are. And when you recognize who you are, money, you recognize you are that. You are that you call this money. That is already you. That exists in you naturally. That can't exist without you. So when you come to that recognition, you have to allow for the things to come your way to show you what it is. But these blockages that we create in our chakra system by the way that we react to things, and the way that, and the action or the lack of action that we have in certain areas, is going to keep us stuck. Solution. Ache, I'm going to look at my notes, you guys. Kyla says she loves that book. I love this book too, and I took some notes from the book that I wanted to make sure that I touched on. Let's see. Minerals and stones are the vehicles through which the Earth's energy is distributed and balanced. The Earth planet is Gaia, and it mirrors our own body. Every individual is a cell within the system of Gaia. Gaia has an energy field around it just like us. And so let me just say this, that was coming as soon as I was reading that, is as we look at ourselves, because a lot of people feel that with everything that's happening in the world, I'm just one person. What can I do? When you align yourself with the energy of Gaia, when you start working on yourself and start healing yourself, the energy of Gaia, that it completely surrounds you. So everything that you need, everything that is in order for you to have, you will receive that. Even if you will be in a whole nother world than what you are used to when you are able to align yourself with this energy and trust it, that everything that is happening is for your highest good. And that you don't live in the fear of, oh, what if I don't have this? Or what if I don't have that? Or what if this happens tomorrow? Or what if this happens? And let me tell you, this is something that we have to work on constantly and consistently. I am telling you this from experience. It is a constant pull of the old thought patterns and a rejuvenation, a renewal of thoughts, of clear-minded thoughts, of thoughts that are on a high vibrational space, and it takes a lot of programming. So you got to deprogram and reprogram yourself constantly. As soon as something is coming in your space that is not matching the vibration that you want to exist in, these thoughts that are making you sad or making you feel low or making you feel insignificant, you have to replace that with a higher thought. And you have to do that immediately, consistently, and constantly, and remember. And it's like, I have a system. My system, when I'm feeling insignificant, low vibrating, like I'm, a little pea in this whole big old giant world, what I do is I go to my voice. I sing. I sing whatever song makes me feel good. I'm learning now more to make sure that I put, when I'm in a highly emotional state, to only sing the songs that have that high vibrational frequency rather than just the songs that, make my voice sound nice. Because, my ego comes in and says, sing this one, and it's like, well, that's not really something I really need to be hearing right now. So I have a lot of these little conversations with myself in my head when I'm feeling like, that energy, and I'm feeling like I want to express myself in certain ways. So I'm being more aware of what I am inputting, because I do recognize that I'm in a constant deprogram state, because and I've said this many sessions, y'all know it, is that everything is according to where you are in the moment. But you know what? That's not what I was going to say. That thought had just went, and I was trying to play it off and be like, okay, no, I can feel that in with this, but nope, the thought just left. So I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't know what I was going to say. It just, boom, bye thought. That means get back to your notes and go back, stay focused.
Everything is, would you say everything is where you are in the moment?
Yeah.
That has truth.
Yes. Wherever your mind is, that's where you are. Yeah. All the time.
Right.
So it's like,
from moment to moment, you have to definitely realize and understand that your perception in that moment can change.
Yes.
Which means you can change that moment.
Exactly. Oh, solution. Well said. That was exactly it. And it brings back the power to us. And it's important to recognize that we talked about this back on ego work, that your ego, you can't get rid of it. Your ego is always going to be there. So your ego is always going to bring you these thoughts, these low vibrational thoughts that are going to test you, especially in this time. Because see, people have this concept of the age of Aquarius, and the age of Aquarius has its significance and has its purpose. And this is truly the golden age. This is the time that we're in. But your frequency has to match what it is that you're wanting to receive. And in order for you to do that, you got to change yourself to do that. And you can't fake it. You can't, like in our time, the time that we came out of, people were faking it, because it's like, as long as you drive a certain kind of car, as long as you got X amount of dollars in the bank, or you rocking some jewels and stuff, then that's telling that, that's saying that you have, that you've made it, right?
As long as you present a certain picture.
Yes. But see, in the world where we are now, in order for you to have made it, for you to really get your bling, and when I say your bling, I'm talking about your crown, chakra, all lit up like the Jesus, then that's from within. And so you have to have this abundance from within. That's where it has to show up first. And see, the outside follows, and so we always go back to that thought of knowing that this abundance doesn't mean, or spiritual doesn't mean that you're a broken person, that you're broke, that you're just spiritual and you're lowly and poor. And that's not what it is. That's what the program stated in the old world that it was. But we recognize that when you have that abundance within, it shows on the outside, and it shows to the capacity of whatever your vision is. Because for some people, a luxurious ride might just be a horse. They'd be like, dang, that man is driving around. He got all this money and he ain't got no car, but he sure got some horses. He be getting around. You just never know what it is for an individual, what is, what they need, and what completes their life or completes their experience.
Horses are more expensive than cars.
Yeah, I would think so too, huh? How much a horse costs?
It depends.
It depends?
Yeah, it definitely depends.
I know, I seen some little tiny baby horses that look really scraggly.
$4 million horses.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
So that is depending on the assessment.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, as with anything. Yeah, we know.
All the time.
All right. So healing is a process of restoring a state of dynamic balance to the body and the energy systems, by moving back into harmony with these natural forces. Dynamic balance is health. And this is why when you go into you can plant your feet inside of the earth, and it is proven that charges your body up with healing energy. So, and it's a way to align and to, get that energy going in your chakra system. And guess how much it costs? How much it costs to put your feet in the dirt?
What kind of dirt?
Because everything costs, right? Everything costs money. My goodness. Yes, I guess it depends on what kind of dirt you find. I always recommend if you plant your feet in the sand, if you're by the ocean, that's always the best. But potting soil, no, I think it needs to be in the ground. It needs to be in the ground. So you want to go to any space that has grass, or you could, that you can rich dark soil. Yes, dirt, like dirt, and use that is very healing. How are you reacting to the stimulation of the outside world? This is very important to target your chakra system and to know where you're being stimulated. How are you? I can answer that question. Personally, for me, how am I being stimulated by the outside world is through my heart chakra. Because I'm constantly, feeling, these things and feeling this energy that's happening with people. Like yesterday, I think we were watching the homeless in LA, the amount of homelessness that's happening now in the world, and it's a reality that's gonna get bigger and bigger. It's going to be more in your face. There's going to be more people that are going to be homeless and that are going to be, going through the struggles. And so it's important to be in balance, because you have to know where everything belongs. Everything happens for a reason. And you have to know that in your mind and in your heart, if you have done everything that you can do for an individual, even the individuals that you don't have any physical contact with, but you're seeing that they're, in dire straits, if you can send them a prayer, if you can send them love and high vibrations, you're doing a lot. And if that's the best that you can do, that is the most that you can do. And so you have to release any feelings of guilt or any feelings of, you having more and people having less, and these ideas of, but the children and people, but the babies, and and I'm not saying don't think about the children and the people. I'm saying that everything has its place, and these things need to happen. And in order for us to affect proper change, we have to be the change. And we recognize that this is something that has existed. This knowing and that truth has existed forever. Y'all not hearing this for the first time. So if you want to help your neighbors, you got to help yourself, so that you are not the person that is out in the street seeking help and needing this and needing that. And know that everything is going to be provided for, even for the people that are out there. Everybody is getting what they need, and they have to be the ones that make the choice to, face their demons, face their truth, and recognize who they are. And it's like it's not up to us to say what a person should believe, just like some people believe that, we're weird and crazy for believing in Most High and the universe and God and all things spiritual at all, so everybody has their belief system. So you might be looking at somebody that's homeless or doesn't have anything going on, and you start checking their background and checking their story, and I'm sure their story will tell you why they're in the circumstances that they're in. It's always like that. And it's not to say to not have compassion, but we have to take things to another level. And we do that within ourselves. And as we heal, we show others how to heal, and so on and so forth. And this is how it's done. This is how the ancestors have done it. And, we have always known everybody cannot be saved. People have to save themselves. And this is the time to do it. This is that time to do it. I'm going to open up the lines, you guys. I know I'm still going through the notes, but I'm going to open up the line. Solution, could you put the phone number in there? 951 821 5899. I should probably test it first to make sure that that's it. I got to test it, you guys. And if you guys have any questions or any comments or any particular stone that you want me to touch on, you can put that in the chat. 951-821-5899. That sounds like it's right. But let me just make sure that it's right. What did I say it was? 951?
951-821-5899.
Okay. Cool, I got it right. All right, so the line is open if anyone wants to call into that number. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep going down my notes. But before I move on, I just want to say knowing how you're reacting to the stimulation outside is very important, because once you know where how you're being triggered or where that relates to, then you can work on that area in your system. Let's say, for example, the outside world is triggering your throat chakra, and it's or is blocking it, not triggering it, but blocking it, and you're feeling like, there's things that you want to say, but you can't say them. You're feeling a frustration. So you want to know where that, like, frustration, anxiety, and anger and things like that don't always just come from the root. It doesn't always, that's not always the chakra center that you have to focus on. If it has to do with you not being able to say something and you're keeping things in and you're just, not sharing and not expressing, then you're going to have to work on that throat chakra. And that chakra is going to help you focus on truth and give you the ability to speak your truth. Whatever that truth is, it's not about somebody else accepting it. It's about you being able to speak it and feel good about what you're saying and be able to communicate, because that's what's important. Hola, Ebony. Welcome, welcome. So, let me continue on. And wait, we're like a little bit in the middle. So let me just say we're changing a little bit of the format of what we do here, in the study group, in these study sessions. And so moving forward, March 22nd, actually, no, it's actually starting March 10th, because we're going to start doing a broadcast on a Wednesday to check in the middle of the week. But what's going to be changing is that there's going to be a whole nother group for that, and you guys are going to be receiving that information in your emails for that new group. And what the details on that is, you guys know how I feel about filtering and the filtration system, and everybody's not ready to go to the next level, and it's not there's nothing wrong with that. Some people need to stay in here and study a little bit longer and kind of catch up with things, but we're getting ready to push things to the practice level, and that's going to be a whole nother area of master vibration study. So that's going to be the practice group. And so there's going to be this weekly session that happens on Fridays, but we're going to have a private conference line, where on the private conference line, I do expect for people to be present there and to be active participants in those particular calls, because we're basically just going to be going over the things that we do in the public podcast. So we're just going to go into more detail. Like, for example, this session today, we would go into more detail in regards to specifics on the stones and specific uses on our private conference call. That's going to happen once a week as well. And it's going to give us more of an opportunity to have a Q&A. I think that a lot of times people feel a little uncomfortable with, kind of being, broadcasting. It's uncomfortable. So we just want to make it more comfortable by making it a little more private and just having a dial-in number, a conference line that we can all talk on and participate in a better way. But, we're still going to be doing the weekly sessions on the podcast. People are digging it. That's what made me feel like, well, this is kind of weird, because it's like we started out very low-key and private, and you guys don't see it, but it's like people are listening to these things everywhere for a little mistake that I made of putting this out. And so I honor, everything happens for a reason, and I believe that. And so we decided to just keep the podcast available on Spotify where people are listening, on Apple, wherever they're listening. And we're just going to kind of move it along and, do our private thing on another level. And so, and you guys will be getting information on what's going to be happening moving forward. For those of you that are listening to this that are not in the study group, you have until March 10th to join the study group for $13. After that, it's going to be $24.99 or $25, I believe. And so you're going to be able to go to the practice level if you join before March 10th. And on March 10th, we're going to be featuring someone that is here in our study group. Carla, I'll just say Carla. She's going to be talking about her journey with Master Vibe. She's been on it for a very long time, since like 2013 or maybe even earlier than that. But we're going to be bringing some of you guys forward to share your stories this season on how Master Vibration 13 has helped you and how the Orgone tools have helped you. And, those of you that are making your own, we definitely want to, give you a platform to share with other people what you do, so that if they need some, they can get it through what you guys are doing as well. So we have a lot of cool things coming for the new season, and it's been wonderful. We didn't take a break this season at all. I think we probably took 1 week off, and I was going to take this week off to prepare for next season, but something said, no, we got to talk about this, and we got to talk about this today. And so that's why I'm here. I want you guys to know that, it looks like the chakra system and self-healing and stuff is such a theme now, right? It's trending. But I want you to know that this is for always, and this is forever. This is not something that is going to stop. Even if there is no internet, you can't stop. You have to keep going, and you have to keep using the resources that you have so that you can go deeper and know that, there's nothing that can happen that's going to stop this this journey for you. Not even death, not even a physical death is going to stop this journey for you. It goes on, and we go on. And so learning your system, it seems like something so simple, and it's like, oh, chakras, and, that's cute, and people like to wear the colors, and they like to, celebrate the knowledge of, they like to celebrate the knowledge, but they don't practice the knowledge. And I really don't want this group to be that group, everything, this whole journey, for me has been, this group is what keeps it in motion, because it's like, I know that it's for a purpose and for a reason. And I've talked to almost all of you guys, and well, I'm saying all of you guys, not anymore, because it's like if people listening to us in some places that we've never been to, so that's really interesting. Aloha and all of that. But for the people that are in the physical group that I have spoken to, it's like, you all have a reason for being here, and you all have a purpose. And there's a lot of you are being challenged right now. A lot of us are being challenged right now, and it's because we're in the crown, that crowning stage where it's busting open in a major way. And I see that no one has any questions or any comments to call in, so I'm gonna continue on with what else I want to share today. We're gonna continue on with the chakras and the crystals. That's ongoing, but it's important for you to know that what is happening now on the planet, what is happening now in the world, is a very, very serious thing that the world, the news, the old world is not going to show you. They're not talking about what is happening, what the forecast is financially. They're not talking about what is happening in in economy. What is it that they're telling you? That they're printing more money, right? They're printing more money, more stimulus checks are coming out. Whatever information is out there definitely has to do with fear, and has to do with scarcity, like there's not enough and lack and all of this energy, and yeah, but we're pumping in this dollar, we're giving more money. And what is happening all over the world is something completely different, that only the people that are committed and dedicated to that type of study are in the know. They're the only ones that are like really knowing what's going on. And I want to say a big ups to Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin was spitting some knowledge about Bitcoin and Ethereum and just the Rockefellers and the banking systems and what's happening in the world. And it's time to take it serious, whether you're a person who is not really into finances and what's happening. And the reason why I'm relating the financial conversation to this particular topic is because the financial system, how you feel about your finances, how you feel about, where you are in the world and your worth, that has to do with your root and your sacral chakras right there. And we're going to go ahead and add the solar plex as well. But, it's predominantly there in the root because that idea and that belief, what your belief systems are rooted in your root. And so in order to transform that, to transform the idea that you have about money, you have to transform the idea that you have about yourself. And so when you have a clear understanding and a clear idea of who you are and, what you represent, then that is going to show outside. And so there's so many ideas of money that people have that are in like a box. And so for those people that's limited vision, that's a limited idea because they only believe that this physical stuff is what money is. When you know different, then the physical is just a after effect. It's a residual of that thought and that mindset and what you were able to manifest physically. You can't manifest anything physically if you are not in divine alignment. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not manifesting consciously. You're manifesting subconsciously, where all of the things that are just happening in your life that you don't like, is you manifesting it, but you're not really feeling that is that or realizing that is that. So it makes it really difficult to get out of that system when you keep showing yourself proof of what you believe, but what you're believing is something really completely false based on a false idea given to you by somebody that wanted to control you. And so all of it is relevant. And, I used to hate money. And I think I've told you guys this story before. I used to hate it. And I hated it. I was so mad at it. And I had to, in order for me to heal with money, I had to heal myself. And so in healing myself, my relationship with money is completely different. And it's like an abundance absolutely comes to us in so many different ways. If you think that money is just greenbacks, then yeah, you might think that you broke and poor. But if you recognize that financial abundance, that money is something that is always, what is the difference between money and currency? Money is forever. Currency kind of like goes like the paper. Well, you being the money, you're here. And even when you're not here in the physical, you still here. So it's like you're infinite. You have infinite wealth. And so I lost my thought again.
You have infinite wealth.
You have infinite wealth.
Between money and currency.
Yes.
Currency loses its wealth where money doesn't. If you see yourself as money, then you always will retain your value and your wealth. I assume. I don't know if that's where you were going, but
that's kind of like where I was going, but it just went, you guys, I just don't know. Sometimes that happens. And it's crazy because what it really feels like too is just like there's emotion coming out and then it goes and it's like, and then here's me. Like, okay. It's weird. It's a weird, those of you that have ever experienced,
speaking spirit.
A spirit. The speaking spirit.
The speaking spirit.
It has a different mind. And it says,
it's doing its thing, and then the speaking spirit just leaves. And then it's like, your actual
be
being.
Like, bye.
Yeah, your actual physical being is like, well, speaking spirit, you took my words.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Words. That's what I was projecting.
Oh my goodness, that's exactly
how you gonna just
happened.
take the mic? Yeah, the speaking spirit just took the mic.
Took the mic. Okay.
The mic.
Okay. So we were talking about the finances, the financial system, and how it relates to you, and how important it is to be able to be open in what that really means to be money and to have money and what that frequency and what that energy is. And so we've been talking about for the longest about um foreign currencies. We've been talking about silver. We've talked about gold. We're going to get deeper into these in the practice sessions coming later in the spring. So we're pretty much going to be giving limited information here, but we're going to go deeper into it as we go into these other sessions because it is completely out of the box thinking. And it is so out of the box thinking that we have to protect ourselves from the information that we exchange when it comes to these matters, when it comes to financial matters like your investments and those different things.
Interesting when they put you in the box in any type of information that they're providing you.
Mm-hmm.
If you really take a step back to look at it and really assess it, you might come to the conclusion that them placing me in this box is most likely giving them the ability to maintain control of me as I step outside of the box. Now, that glass ceiling that you can't really see is not a part of, your environment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting, just when you said it, I was like, man, that's funny that people are placed in a box of education, and in that box of education, that also is a fence or a gate or a wall of control.
Yes.
And it doesn't allow for freedom, and freedom is thinking outside the box because they educate you, get the greenbacks, do the stock market, do all these different things that they are using their tools to extract your wealth, and they're doing this through the education that they give you.
Yes.
In regards to finances and, wealth.
And that's escaping them now because now people are doing their own thing. They are going another way.
Right.
And this is why the world is now seeing what's happening with Bitcoin. Because it is and I'm going to be putting this video up in the study group so that you guys could check it out. It's the video that Solution sent me with Eddie Griffin, comedian Eddie Griffin. And he was talking about Bitcoin, and he made some really interesting points because, again, this was happening in the world. The world, the puppet masters are trying to gain control of everything. And so Bitcoin was created and, is doing, is ushering in a new system of digital currency. And so it was doing it in a very organic way for the people, but now the controllers of the people are about to take full control of that. Their intention is always to take full control of anything that is working and anything that's going good and anything like look at what happened to YouTube, what happened to Facebook, what happened to all of these different things that they then come to control, and so the same thing is happening with the financial system because see this Bitcoin is a representation of freedom, right? And this is just my perspective of it, right? And it makes sense with my whole healing process because in my life and the things that I was going through and wanting to disconnect from this flawed system, there had to be a different way for me to be able to access wealth and benefit from, being able to do honest commerce with somebody without having somebody all up in my business, a third party that has nothing to do with the growth of what I'm building to be able to benefit, from that, not just benefit, but control it and steal it. Because that's what happens.
Want a part of it.
Yeah,
taxes.
Absolutely want a part of it. And we know that that's not right yet because we want to,
But they don't include you in that stuff.
No, they don't include us at all.
No.
When you say they don't include us in their stuff,
I'm talking about like we was talking about as far as an investment. You put in you put in something. He talks about it in the video. You put in some money, and then you taking the risk.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. It grows. They like, well, what's up?
Yep.
But if you put that money in and it goes down, they don't give you like 20% of what you lost. They have no.
They're not gonna give you no break.
No, you just
They're not
lost.
gonna. Yep.
You know?
And it's just such a flawed system, and it is a direct example of the sickness that we have on the planet. It is a direct example. And so I know for me personally, it's like if I'm going out, if I don't like this system, something else had to be created. And for me, in my mind, I created Bitcoin. I made Bitcoin come into my life. I made these other investments and these other opportunities that go outside of the box. I created that with my mind and with my heart and with my thought and with what I desired for my own life. And I knew it wasn't going to be anything like anything anybody has ever seen before, because it had to be something different to happen in order for this situation to be what it is becoming now, which is the people having freedom, the people having true freedom of being able to live on this land as a sovereign, as someone who is self-mastered and can handle their own affairs. This is what they've been wanting to control forever, and their time is up. So it had to be something crazy. It's like we have, how many times we've gotten laughed at for talking to people about Iraqi dinar or telling people about gold and silver and different things like that. I mean, people that just...
You know what's funny about that? It just dawned on me too, though, when you said that. People laugh, but at the same time, when I was talking to you about today, how rich people got gold. They got silver.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They just don't go out and tell people.
Right.
And maybe even if you say something, they might look at you crazy. Okay, foreign currency. Bush, whichever Bush that was, George, signed an executive order in regards to the Iraqi dinar, that we can use their Iraqi dinar, which is a financial instrument, as a financial tool, just like they can. Why would he do that? But he's a part of the elite,
right?
So it ain't that damn funny. Like, somebody might say it to you, and they might laugh, but they must just be holding on to their little information or their secret. You know what I'm saying? Because it's interesting when you talk to people and they laugh about it. But yeah, the rich, the so-called, well off, they be like, you gold, silver, but then they ordering tons of it, and they totally have shielded their wealth. So it's an interesting little play how these things are being executed.
It really is. Jennifer says that they want us to believe a huge crash is near to deter investing too. Absolutely. That's exactly and absolutely what they want us to do. And here's the thing about it too. Remember that you are the small percentage. We're not like a big old large group that has a whole bunch of people that is doing, this stuff. We're in our communities, in our respective communities, we're usually the only ones in the community with this mindset, with this thought process. And so you definitely have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that, and you have to trust your source. And who's your source? You know who your source is, whatever it is that you call that great energy that brought life into you beyond this flesh. So once you do that, you're going to know what to do. And see, this that we're doing here with Master Vibration 13, it has been like we do have to find places where we can come together, where we can have these discussions that are not passed on all over the world. Like, we're not trying to get completely publicized in what we're doing here. That is not the goal at all. And it's like, this is not for, I've been questioning this whole situation. It's like, oh yeah, a business, and right, it's a business, but I'm not about to compromise, my intellectual property, the things, what I am and what we've built over a subscription or being popular online or whatever. Like, my whole movement, and just to, those of you that have been a part of this for so long, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in my life, in my mind, I'm recognizing that the old is over and it is time for the new. And I have been hibernating for a long time, and everything has been saying, don't do what you've been doing. You got to do something different. What that difference is, you're going to know when it happens, and when it comes, you have to follow yourself and be authentic to your own own energy and the messages that you're receiving. It doesn't matter who's on board. It doesn't matter who's around. It doesn't matter who's not around. This change is happening no matter what. So be prepared for it. And in that preparation, I'm saying it's like, yeah, it was, social media in December, but it may be to the point where it is completely just shut down, gone and done. And those of you that are in this group, y'all know my number and y'all know what it is. Y'all always know that I will be in touch with you. And, everything is what we've talked about, all of those things that we've talked about in our private conversations. Y'all already know how we get down and what the deal is. But this whole look at me and look at what I'm doing over here and let me get some of that shine out there. That's just not it anymore. That's just not what it is. It's time to do something different. And so, that's what's going to be happening over here on this side. So, I'll be giving you guys an outline. Expect the unexpected. I know y'all are on this ride with us. So, hey, we're rolling with it. There will be a private, we're probably going to do that on a conference call because we do have some things that we want to share in regards to what's happening with silver, what's happening with the dinar, what's happening with, all of the different investments. But we don't want to put that on the public air. We want that to be something private. So if you're interested in being a part of that conversation, please send a text and to 818-233-5776. And say that you want to be part of that discussion, and we'll let you know when it's going to be and where you have to be to take part of it. I didn't go through all my notes. I'll post some of this stuff inside of the study group in the discussion board, so you guys can check the discussion board. And I think that I don't want to take up any more of you guys' time on this Friday night. We got a full moon, so please take advantage of the full moon. It is, I think it's coming totally full on tomorrow or, later on tonight. Oh, okay, tomorrow. All right. So I have plans for the full moon tomorrow, but yes, I hope you guys take advantage of it. Celebrate what you have created and what you have done, and then just get ready for what you're going to be creating with that new moon. So you guys have a great evening. Solution, do you have anything that you wanted to add before we
stay vibing high? It's all about perspective, so exist in a positive perspective. It always could be worse.
Ooh, yes, it could.
I know that's hard to think. That's what people thought in 2020, and now we're in 2021. But it always could be better if you positioned yourself in that place of positivity and benefit. So,
Ache. All right, you guys, have a great weekend. Hasta la próxima. We will be here on Sunday, though, for Bible study. Adios.
Adios.
When I feel the sound of music vibrating in me, I take hold of the energy and ride the frequency. My soul makes the melody of my life, so I must sing. Every tune that comes through me brings balance to my being. I have the power to change the direction in me through sound. I have the power to change the direction in me through my mind. I am creation, I am animation, I am the brightest vibrant star in all of the constellations. I am zip, pepper, sass, punch, bounce, moxie, mojo, whatever you call it. I am Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. calle 13.